Testing audio. Yep, okay, I'm good. I'm good. Cool. All right, it's time to finally start our ceiling framing because now that our subfloor is down, we can't start building our walls until our ceiling framing is done. So we have something to attach to. With 8-foot on center trusses, obviously you can't run a ceiling product like drywall at 8-foot on center. So what we're gonna do, and we just started, was we've got a laser line set up on our peak. That is shooting from one end to the other. And there's a little bit of discrepancy at the peak on the interior. It could be the trusses, it could be us, but at the max, I think about 1/4 inch one way or the other. And so we don't want to go off of those peaks exactly, since we can kind of redefine that center line for the drywall right now. We can adjust our peak just a little bit with our framing, and that's what we're going to do. And then off of that, we're going to go 2-foot on center with 2x6 framing in between these trusses. So these trusses were engineered for this load. That is why when you look at these trusses, the bottom chord being 2x12, that's a beefy truss, and it's to support the additional weight that we need to do to overframe for a drywall ceiling. Hold me on this.
I'm gonna hold you on to.
Yeah, you're gonna mark forward then.
Should we be marking? This is center, right?
Oh yeah, good point.
We should be marking back 3/4.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was just when we go square. We'll just
Yeah, we'll do, yeah. But let's do that right now before we forget. Good catch, Greg. I got to give it to you, man. That's a good one. All right, so we're just marking every 2 foot, and Greg caught the fact that we need to make sure we mark back 3/4 of an inch. So when we install our 2x, the center of it is 2-foot center from our peak. I know a lot of people were asking about bottom chord stiffeners. Yes, these trusses do need some permanent bracing on the bottom chord, but since we were going to be going through and framing this whole ceiling in, we knew that that would give us our bottom chord stiffener. We didn't spend the time or waste the resources on doing it during the install because we knew it would be okay for the time being. So that'll stiffen these up real nice. All right, good? So we just got ourselves a little block here just to set in as a template where our actual ceiling joist is going to be. And then we can just take our bracket and go right up where it's supposed to be and get it nailed off. And what that'll allow us to do now is with the bracket here and there, a guy can come in and just set our ceiling joist in and then fasten it, and you can move on your way. You don't have to hold it in place, get it fastened, and put the hanger in. Still a pain, but still a little bit of a pain, but not too bad. We'll get this done pretty quickly. Well, there you go. We got a majority of all the hangers done that we need done. Obviously, we can't work out over top of this space off of ladders. We're gonna have to get the lift going. But we got all the hangers we could. And the next thing we've got to do here is I hastily put that 2x6 up an angle there to define where our wall is. And we're gonna swap that out for a 2x12 just for a little bit more added support for the ceiling. We opted for the pneumatic Pasload metal connectors. So yes, we do like cordless, hose-free, whatever, but for something like this that really requires a lot, it's just much more, I think, easy, and it works a little bit better to have a pneumatic gun. So what's that? Lighter. Yeah, it's lighter weight, you're right. You have the hose to deal with, but it's not that bad. I think also there's just sometimes where pneumatic is better. So this is one of those instances where I think it is just better. So now that we have all of these hangers installed, if Greg cut them right, I'm gonna throw that on you, Greg. We should be able to set these in.
I cut them to the size of the toy.
Oh, well, that's got gusset plate. We're not gonna be able to go on that one. Let's go here. No, I'm not tall enough, dude. I need a ladder.
I'm not
I do know that's pretty tight. Yo. But these are all cut 710.5, and I checked, they're off, like, take the line on 710.5, so they're just under 710.5.
It should be.
Which is what all these should be.
There might be a couple that may be a little shorter. Maybe not. Who knows?
There. One down, like 28 per bay. 8 times 28, so 200 and something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost 240. But now that that's in the hangers, dude, ain't going nowhere. We're gonna screw in from both ends just to keep it tight, and then we'll come back through and hit the hanger nail. So these are tight out here. As we do this whole bay, it should straighten itself out because these trusses were all hung inside of these columns, which were all 8 foot on centers, giving us a 7 foot, 10.5 inch spacing in between the trusses. So there's gonna be some tight spots, some loose spots. We're just gonna screw everything together, and that should help straighten it out. And then when we get to our end bay, that is where we can cut and manipulate whatever's left over to make sure that it's straight. And the most important part though is that we get these in straight and perpendicular to our peak, so that when the sheetrock is ran, it hits all the spacings for our sheetrock contractor. We don't want it to be off. That would be pretty miserable for him. So easier, should, see? Boom. Feed me, dude. Come on, let's go, let's do this. Well, I don't need that right now. I'm gonna come through and then I'll go through and screw everything.
Oh, this yours too. Crown up.
Crown, well, yeah, you've got all that crown already figured out, right?
Yep. I do. I'll just
Dude, we forgot my stilts. My drywall stilts.
not too late.
It's too late today. We'll bring them tomorrow. What? How did you do that?
No, can you do that?
I loved it, dude. All right, so now that we've got some of these set in here, what we did was these were all cut at, you know, an exact dimension that we knew we were supposed to be. But what can happen is when you're putting a bunch of boards in a space, and if they grow a little bit, it can get off. We like to run the intermediate boards and then come in here on the end bay. And what Greg is doing is he cut these boards that die into the posts exactly what they should be, and he's gonna fit those in there. And then once all of these connections get screwed tight, it will straighten out the trusses to be as straight as our end wall. So at each one of these post locations going up this wall, there'll be a hard connected board that's exactly where it should be. And then in between the 8 foot section, we'll just kind of run those long, and those will get screwed into this 2x12 top header. So originally I threw a 2x6 up there in haste, and I'm pulling that out and I'm replacing it with a 2x12 because that's gonna support the weight of the ceiling, the sheetrock, the lumber, and what have you. But having this ceiling getting started here, you can definitely start to feel what the space is gonna be like. You'll notice we don't have the boards running through where the gusset plates are, because once again, the gusset plates add a little bit of a variable, and we kind of just dynamically cut those to fit once we get everything fastened. So that's what's going on, and we're just moving right along.
No, I need to like quarter-inch.
Quarter inch?
Yeah. So,
Well, that's not bad.
I mean, for the top.
I thought you were more of a man than that. do you want my help? Wait, take it off. Go. So I think that this is probably the one thing that stick frame has over post frame is when you are done putting your roof system in place, all of your trusses, or I guess sometimes if you're doing a stick framed roof and so you're hand cutting all those roof joists or roof rafters, then you do have to build your whole ceiling system, you know, in that house as well. But with a truss system, you don't normally have to do that because your trusses are being installed 2 foot on center, typically. So with 8 foot on center trusses, we just have to do an additional step. We've been at it here today. We've had some, you know, breaks here and there doing some other things, but for the most part, we aren't that far away from having this 2nd story mezzanine ceiling done, and then we'll have to go out into the main area of the building. But we can now that we have this straightened out, and that looks a ton better, by the way, Greg, a ton better. These trusses were leaning just a little bit. Now we can go ahead and fill in all these other ones that Greg has cut and then do these gusset plate ones. So it's going pretty good actually, and it's looking nice and straight. All right, so now that we've got these ceiling joists installed, you can really start to feel what this space is like. And if I'm to step back here in the middle, I mean, it's 10 feet. 10 feet, and all the way down at the edge, it's 7 feet. So yes, as it gets close to the walls, it does get shorter. However, this is kids' bedroom area, and why does it need to be any taller than that? Because most likely you're gonna put beds or furniture up against walls, and that's where the bedrooms will be. And then this whole center area will be open, and that's where the play area is gonna be, which is where the most, you know, height is. I could see a nice little miniature hoop in here, maybe, something like that, a little trampoline. I don't know, I mean, do whatever you want. This floor is solid enough, you could probably play football up here, Greg. So anyway, it's a good jump on this ceiling. It's a lot of work, but it wasn't that bad. However, we did start with the easiest section. When we get out into the other area, once we get out into that other area, it's definitely gonna be a little bit more challenging out of the lift, just because the up and down and all the material, but it won't be too bad. So we'll just keep rolling this and keep working on this ceiling and starting to frame walls here in these bedrooms. You think you can?
I know I can.
Greg said this looks like a jungle gym, and he thinks he's gonna go from one end to the other. We're gonna put lunch on it tomorrow.
Are you ready?
Yeah, man. Is he gonna make it, YouTube? Is he gonna make it? Greg is a very proud individual. Ooh, he's thinking about it right now. He's thinking about it. You're almost there, buddy. Lunch, Greg. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on, Greg. Come on, buddy. Nice. My shoulders would fall off, dude.
Honestly, like, my shoulders are fine, my hands hurt.
Yeah, nice job. Nice job. Good work. YouTube, if that didn't just earn a like, a subscribe,
Like, subscribe.
and if anything else,
follow
let me
button.
put my Venmo up so you guys can help me pay for Greg's lunch tomorrow.